Hello. Let me ask you a question. Who is the greatest teacher in your life? Was it a dedicated teacher at school? Or a boss or mentor who guided you in your career? Maybe it was a parent or a sibling who taught you the first lessons about life. But what if I told you that this greatest teacher has no name, no specific face, and is not even a person? We often seek wisdom in faraway places, in thick books, or from famous gurus on mountaintops. But the truth is, the most profound lessons come from the most unexpected places and people. Think about the time you failed a major project. What did you learn from that failure? Or the time you were hurt in a relationship, what did that teach you about the value of trust? Or even, how a naive child can teach you about simplicity, or an animal about resilience. These are our silent teachers. Life, with all its experiences, is our greatest master. It teaches us through every stumble, every difficult or happy moment. And today, I'm going to tell you a story about a wise Buddhist master. When asked about his teacher, he didn't name a single famous spiritual guide. Instead, he spoke of three very special teachers: a young boy, a dog, and a thief. Each of them taught him something that no book or scripture could ever teach. Are you ready to discover these unlikely masters? Let's go back to a peaceful monastery where this story begins. In the early days of his spiritual journey, our master had great pride in his knowledge and enlightenment. He believed he had understood deep truths and was always looking for a way to show it. One evening, while walking through a village, he saw a young boy carrying a candle and heading towards the temple. It was a perfect opportunity for him to show off his wisdom. He approached with a look of self-satisfaction and asked the boy a question that seemed very difficult. "Son, when you left your house, this candle was not lit. So, can you tell me where this light came from?" He expected the boy to be confused, to have no answer. But instead, something that stunned him happened. The boy calmly blew out the candle and asked him a simple question in return. "Now that the light is gone, can you tell me where it went?" The master was stunned. He had no answer. In that moment, all his pride and all the knowledge he had accumulated became meaningless. He realized he had been defeated by a surprisingly simple question. The first and most profound lesson he received was from this child. The boy didn't speak of philosophy or doctrine, but showed him a simple truth. True wisdom is not about showing off your knowledge, but about realizing the limits of your own. The boy taught him that true learning begins when the ego ends. Think about this. We often make the mistake of thinking, "I already know that." That "I know that" is the wall that prevents us from learning. It's like a cup that is already full and cannot hold a single drop more. From that day on, the master became humbler, more open to learning from everyone around him, whether it was a beggar, a farmer, or even an animal. And a few months later, while traveling, he met his second teacher. A very special teacher who taught him another precious lesson about courage. Months later, while walking from one village to another, the master walked past a pond. There, he saw a strange sight. A thirsty dog was trying to drink water, but every time it approached, it saw its own reflection in the water. It thought it was another dog threatening it, and it would bark and step back in fear. It tried again and again, but fear always stopped it. The master stood there watching with curiosity. Finally, after many failed attempts, the dog stepped back, gathered its courage, and with a determined leap, jumped into the pond. It quenched its thirst and joyfully swam out, wagging its tail. And in that moment, he learned his second lesson. A lesson from a simple animal. He realized that our fears are nothing more than a reflection of our own mind. The dog was afraid of its own image, just as we fear the things we imagine in our heads. Can you see yourself in this story? We often let fear stop us from doing what we want. Fear of failure. You want to start a business, but you are afraid it will fail, so you never start. Fear of rejection. You want to express your feelings to someone, but you are afraid of being rejected, so you never speak up. Fear of change. You want to leave an unhappy job, but you are afraid of the uncertainty ahead, so you stay stuck. We are afraid of our own shadows, afraid of the worst-case scenarios we create for ourselves. But the dog showed that if we face it with courage, we can overcome it. And that dog became the master's second teacher. It reminded him that courage is not the absence of fear, but acting in spite of it. From that day on, the master began to face his own fears, from the smallest ones. But the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, he met a third teacher, someone none of us would ever think of, a thief. And this thief taught him a lesson not just about perseverance, but about something even more valuable than perseverance. One night, the master arrived in a new village. It was dark and he knew no one. As he was looking for a place to rest, he saw a man trying to break a wall. He approached and asked for directions to the temple. The man laughed and said, "I am not a mason, I am a thief. But you look tired. Come stay at my home." Surprised by the man's honesty, the master agreed. For several nights at his small home, the master witnessed something truly unexpected. Every time he went out to steal, the thief would pray sincerely before leaving. And every night he returned empty-handed, he would say, "Today was not successful, but tomorrow I will definitely succeed." He mostly targeted rich people who earned money by deceiving the poor. Finally, one night, he succeeded and returned with stolen goods. And that's when the master learned his third lesson. No matter how many times you fail in life, you should never lose hope of succeeding. Think about this. Hundreds of people give up after one failure. Thousands are discouraged after a few tries. But this thief, regardless of his work, held an unwavering belief that he would succeed. That is pure perseverance and unwavering hope. However, the lesson didn't just stop at perseverance. The master advised the thief to use that perseverance for a righteous path. And after that, he gave up stealing to start a small business of his own. The real lesson is, perseverance is a strength, but that strength needs to be directed in the right way. You can persevere in doing something wrong, and it will only lead you to greater trouble. From this thief, the master learned that no matter what life throws at you, as long as you hold on to faith and hope, you will overcome it. And now, having told you about the master's three special teachers, a boy, a dog, and a thief, let's bring these lessons together. Because the biggest lesson is waiting for us at the end of the story. The master looked at his disciples with a gentle smile and said, "So these were three of my many masters, a child, a dog, and a thief. Each of them taught me something that no book or scripture could ever teach. Life offers such lessons in the most unexpected ways. You just need eyes to see it and a heart to understand." He paused for a moment and added, "Always remember, life is our greatest master. If you keep learning, keep reflecting, and remain open, life will lead you to wisdom." So, how can we practice this? How can we always be ready to receive lessons from life? Practice mindfulness. Be present in every moment. When you drink a cup of tea, feel its flavor. When you walk, feel every step. Reflect. After every experience, good or bad, take time to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I learn from this situation? Or what does this say about myself? Stay humble. Always remember that you don't know everything. Pride will block your growth, while curiosity and humility will open the door to every lesson. This is the path to enlightenment, the path that each of us is walking. This is the Buddha's pathway. Always learn from your past, from others, and from your own mistakes. Because those who keep learning, keep growing, and keep rising, no matter what life throws their way. Ultimately, it is not about knowing everything, but about never stopping your journey of becoming wiser, kinder, and stronger. If this story touched your heart, comment below with a lesson you learned from an unexpected teacher in your life. Share this video to spread this message to your loved ones, and don't forget to subscribe to Buddha's Pathway so you don't miss our next inspiring stories. You definitely don't want to miss our next video.